To start my luxury hotel meal, I don't want anything ordinary. So for an appetizer, I'm making savory profiteroles, light puffs flavored with Parmesan cheese. I fill them with a creamy blend of goat cheese and bits of sun-dried tomatoes. A drizzle of fresh herb oil over the top adds the flavors of basil and mint. You might want to make 2 orders of these goat cheese and sun-dried tomato profiteroles. So I'm going to start with the batter for my profiteroles. And I have a half a cup of water that I've already started boiling. To that, I want to add half a stick of butter, unsalted butter, room temperature. And I usually cut it into cubes just because it just melts faster into the water. And I just want to kind of mix it together just until the butter melts. Now, this batter that we're making is known as a pâte à choux. It's sort of the base dough or the base batter for donuts, for eclairs, and for profiteroles. So now that the butter has melted, I'm gonna add half a cup of flour. And again, when you're doing these type of things, you wanna make sure and measure your flour out and level it off, okay? So you add the flour directly in here, and you just stir it with a spoon. And really what we're doing is allowing the mixture to thicken, but also allowing the flour to cook a little bit. Just because flour, when it's raw, it has that little bit of a raw flour flavor. So if you cook it under the heat, it cooks that out, and it creates a nice ball. All right, so now we are going to put the dough, and you see it right there? See how it's kind of all come together? Just like that, into the bowl. And we're just wanting to kind of cool it off a little bit. Because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna start by adding eggs to it. Now you have to add eggs to it because the eggs is what adds richness to the actual profiteroles. So just kind of like soften that up and smooth it out a little bit because that allows it to cool down faster. And the reason I like doing it in a bowl is because it helps prevent the eggs from scrambling. So you just kind of mix in the eggs, just like that. And egg number 2. And egg number 3. Kind of mix it in there. Now it takes a minute, but I promise you, if you stir it fast enough here, it does come together. All right, so now we're done. All come together. And I'm gonna start adding 3 tablespoons of grated Parmesan cheese. And the Parmesan just adds that nice, like, salty, buttery flavor to it. It kind of makes them, you know, luxurious. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, gotta season it, and pepper. So again, just mix that together. You can smell that Parmesan cheese coming out. So now, I'm gonna grab my baking sheet and grab a spoon, and this is what we do. Basically, I'm just gonna spoon the mixture onto the baking sheet. And I line the baking sheet with a Silpat, and a Silpat is just a silicone coated baking sheet that nothing sticks to, so I love it. And you just keep doing this. You wanna give it a couple inches apart because they're gonna kind of puff up and maybe spread out a little bit, and you don't want them to touch each other. And we're gonna bake these at 350 degrees for 45 minutes until they puff up. And the whole point is you wanna get the batter into the oven before it sets. That way it gets crispy on the outside and nice and light and pillowy on the inside. So now that my profiteroles are cooking, I can get started on the filling. The filling's gonna be 8 ounces of goat cheese. Now, I love goat cheese. It's tangy, it's smooth, and it's creamy. Now, to the goat cheese, just to thin it out a little bit, 1/4 cup of cream. And I just wanna kind of mix it together just to kind of loosen up the goat cheese a little bit so it makes it a nice, creamy filling. And the goat cheese tang is so perfect inside the profiteroles. All right, now that they're kind of mixed together, I'm just gonna fluff it up. There we go. Okay, I just adore sun-dried tomatoes. because they're sweet, they're chewy, they add a great color. And then again, it makes it look really pretty. I'm just gonna chop some sun-dried tomatoes here. Put the sun-dried tomatoes in with the goat cheese and the cream. Add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Perfect. You see this nice hint of all the red. And it makes the goat cheese a little chunkier, which I really like. All right, so now that the profiteroles are cooking and the filling is done, up next I'm gonna show you how to finish this fantastic appetizer.